Hello students. Today we are going to discuss about reproduction in plants. By the end of this lecture, you will be able to know about different types of reproduction in plants, difference between sexual and asexual reproduction, some example of asexual reproduction, and different parts of flower, in which we will discuss about male and female reproductive parts of flowering plants. First of all, we should know about what is reproduction. Reproduction is the process through which new offsprings are produced from their parents. Now, there are two kinds of reproduction: asexual reproduction. Asexual reproduction, a single organism can produce without the help of another, while another kind, sexual reproduction. Sexual reproduction requires two different sex cells from two different individuals, and their fusion that two sex cells are that two haploid cell will fuse, and that will form diploid cells. That diploid cell is actually zygote. That zygote will then start mitotic division, and they will produce new organism, right? Now remember, sexual reproduction requires two different individuals, but it is not compulsory. If we study the plant's flower, so some flowers contain both male and female parts. So in that case, we will consider that only one individual, because in same plant, in same flower, male and female reproductive parts are present. So in that case, that are within same individual, both are present, male and female parts are present, and they are producing two types of sex cells. Male are producing male gametes, while female produce female gametes, right? While sexual reproduction, also two individuals can be involved. Like in human, there are two partners, male and female. Male are producing sperm, while female producing ova, right? So here we should be clear about it. Sexual reproduction requires two different sex cells. Sex cells are haploid cells, and haploid cells are those cells that contain one set of chromosome. So one set of chromosome containing cell will come from one partner, and one set of chromosome containing cell will come from another partner. Both will fuse, and that will form diploid cell. Diploid cell contain two sets of chromosome, and that diploid cell will start mitosis, and hence the new organism will form. Is it clear? Now let's move toward the difference between asexual and sexual reproduction. Asexual reproduction involve one parents, right? But remember here, yeah, all right, it's involve one parents. Here in asexual reproduction, no gametes form. Here no fusion of gametes take place. No sex cell produced here. And the offspring that are developed through asexual reproduction that are genetically identical. Genetical identical means that DNA is same, there is no change. That offspring is similar to that of their parents. There is no variation. Why? Because asexual reproduction process of mitosis involved. In mitosis, the new cell form. In mitosis, the new cells that form that are similar to that of original cell. Because in mitosis, no changes come in DNA, right? While sexual reproduction usually involve two parents. I told you in which case one parent can be involved, like a flower contain both male and female parts. So in that case, it's maybe one parent, like one plants may be involved. But remember, it is must for sexual reproduction, there should be the formation of gametes. One gamete will produced by female, while the another will produced by male, and both will fuse. That will form zygote. And you know, the gametes are formed by the process of meiosis. We discussed already that meiosis in detail in inheritance chapter. Meiosis is the type of cell division in which diploid chromosome containing cell convert into haploid. It means, for example, if we take example of human, 46 number of chromosome is in the cell that will convert into 23, right? In meiosis, a process happens called crossing over, in which two homologous chromosomes come near to each other and they exchange their part. And crossing over is very essential for variation. That's why in a offspring that develop through sexual reproduction that are genetically different. Why that are genetically different? The first thing is because of crossing over that happen in meiosis. Another, two different parents are involved. So two different DNA come together from two individuals. So because of this reason, the offspring that develop that are not genetically similar, but that are genetically different. Okay. Now, types of asexual reproduction. These are the example of asexual reproduction, like binary fission, budding, spore formation, fragmentation, and vegetative propagation. We will study these in detail now, but you should be clear about this. First, I will talk about fragmentation. You should be clear about this fragmentation. I may not discuss it this later on. That's why I will discuss with you this now. Fragmentation, you know, like from one organism, a fragment detach, and that fragment convert into or that develop into another similar organism. Like I will give you example of starfish. Detachment of part of starfish take place and that part develop into new organism. Same it's also happening in Spirogyra, right? Now let's move toward binary fission. Binary fission, it's a cell division and prokaryotes, means it's prokaryote means bacteria that form two genetical identical cells. Like this is bacteria, right? This bacteria, the DNA of this bacteria replicate, two similar DNA, two identical DNA will form. And this bacteria cell began to grow longer, pulling the two copies apart. This will now start to grow longer and the two DNA will separate from each other. The cell membrane punches inward in the middle of the cell. So the cell membrane is now punches inward, right? Cells split to form two new uniform identical offspring. These two cells will now split from each other, and two identical offspring will form. Identical offspring means that are similar to that of their parents, to this original one. So these two cells are now similar to their parents, right? So you can see here these two means that new two bacteria that are similar to this bacteria. Why? Because the the DNA of this replicate, and both of them get the same DNA that of their parents, right? Now, another example of asexual reproduction is budding, right? So a very easy example I will tell you first about budding. It's happening in yeast, right? For example, let's suppose, right? This is a yeast, right? Yeast is a fungi. From this yeast, a small outgrowth will develop. That small outgrowth is called what? Bud. That is called bud, B-U-D. Now, this yeast, this small outgrowth will detach from this yeast, right? And this outgrowth will become individual yeast. So this is the example of budding, right? Budding, a new organism grow by mitotic cell division, right? Here mitosis cell division happen, and as a result of that, new individual form. The bud offspring is identical to the parents. That is identical to parents. Why? Because the process of mitosis happens. The bud, when large enough, can break off of the parents and live on its own. Examples: yeast, hydra, and cactus. If you check it here in this example, from this organism, what will happen? This part will detach, it will break, and this will become now individual organism, right? So in this hydra, it also this process of budding can take place, right? So these are the example you have to know about it. Okay, now let's move toward another. Yes, this is another example of asexual reproduction, spore formation. Actually, spore form produce a large number. I will give you example. It's happening in fungi, right? So we are considering the example of fungi, right? As you can see here, this is Rhizopus, right? It's the name of fungi. So Rhizopus is growing over a bread, right? Now these are the hyper of fungi, right? And you can see it here in this fungi. They say that this sac-like structure is called sporangium. And this sporangium, what will happen? Some portal-shaped structure will develop, and that is called what? Spore, right? When this sporangium bursts, so all that spore will release to the environment. And whenever these spore get favorable condition, so these spore will grow, and that will develop into another fungi, right? So spore formation is also one of the type of asexual reproduction, right? All right. Now, vegetative propagation. It's also example of asexual reproduction. And vegetative propagation, uniform offspring grow from a part of parent plants. Another offspring develop that are similar to that of original parents, developed from the part of plants. Like how? We will take example of strawberry, right? So parent plants send out runner. This is a parent plant, right? So it is the runner are the plants that are spreading. So from parent plants, these parts are spreading, right? Now where the runner touch the ground. So here whenever this runner is touching the ground, at that place root will develop, and that root now become, it's a root. So from it another individual new plantlet or new plants are start to be developed, right? So each new plant is uniform and identical to the parents. So it is identical to parents. Each plant is identical to parents, right? So this is the example of vegetative propagation. Is it clear? Now, development of new plants from vegetative food storage organ. Now here also this vegetative propagation, but the plant developed from food storage organ, the organ in which food are stored. From that organ new plants are going to develop. Like the first one is bulb, tuber, rhizome, and corm, right? So you can see it here, onion, bulb, right? So we will discuss this now in detail. You can see here example of storage organ, tuber, swollen underground stem of potato. Example, we have potato. From potato, new, like from the tuber of potato, new plants are developing. Bulb, short underground stem with layers of fleshy scale leaves, such as onion bulb. Rhizome, horizontal growing underground stem, like ginger rhizome. Corm, short swollen underground stem, gladiolus corm. This is the example of corm, right? Vegetative propagation of potato plants. In winter, the aerial shoot die. Aerial shoot means the outer shoot, the outer part of the plants die, but the new tubers remain dormant, right? But the new tuber, the tuber here, remember, here the tuber is this new potato that will remain inside the soil and that will remain dormant, this new tuber. And from this tuber then a small outgrowth will come out, and that small eye out, this called eye, that will convert into new plant, right? Now in spring season, each bud each bud can produce a new independent plant. You can see here from each bud new independent plants are developing. The bud use the food stored in the tuber. This bud is using that food that is stored in this potato tuber, that to produce adventitious root and shoot. So that are producing adventitious root and shoot. Adventitious root is going down, while the to shoot to absorb, to absorb the water and minerals from the soil. For that reason, the adventitious root develop, while the root shoots will grow upward to develop leaf. Okay. You can see here there's like tuber from last year plants. This is tuber, and this is, you can see a root, and this is shoot. In summer, excess food made and leaves is sent to underground shoot and stored. In summer, this excess, now the plant having leaf, so that leaf will start to do photosynthesis, so the extra food will go down, then that will store to farm potato tuber. right? While you can see here, while the old one is utilized for formation of new plants. This one is new tuber, right? These are new tubers. Now, application of asexual reproduction. It's the only mean of reproduction for seedless plants such as seedless grapes, sugarcane, potato, and banana. Plant rise through vegetative propagation are genetically similar. It preserves the type of character that a plant breeder desires to retain. For example, if a plant having good character, and if I want to retain in that plant, so I will give priority to asexual reproduction, because in asexual reproduction, no meiosis is taking place. No variation is coming in asexual reproduction. So that's why that specific character will remain in that plant. That character will retain in that plant. It is very economical and easy method for the multiplication of plants. So it is easy. In the asexual reproduction, the plant develop quickly and that grow fastly. So it is a very easy method of multiplication of plant. Now, asexual reproduction in plant advantage and disadvantage. Advantage, it is relatively quick way to produce new plants. Good character of the parents are passed to the offspring. The first one is it's grow very quickly. Second, if the parents having good character, that character transfer to their offspring without any change in that character. This is the advantage of asexual reproduction. Another, no external factor or other plants are needed for reproduction. Like, no external factor mean, in sexual reproduction in plants, they need pollinating agents to transfer the pollen grain. Pollen grain means male gametes to female gametes. From male to female, the pollen grain transfer from male part to female. So that need a pollinating agent. But asexual reproduction, no need a pollinating agent. Or other plants are, and the asexual reproduction also no need of another plant. Now, disadvantage of asexual reproduction is overcrowding can occur. The plants are growing. If you take example of potato, so from potato tuber, you can see several bud develop, and from that different plants develop at the same place. So when all the plants are developing in the same place, so that causes competition for resources. Like that, for resources means like water, minerals, for space even. So there is a competition. So this is one of the disadvantage of asexual reproduction. If all are growing at the same place, they will not grow well, because there is a huge competition between them for resources. Disease of parent plant can easily be transferred. Another, if the parent plant having bad character, so that can exactly transfer to their offspring, right? If it is good character, so this is advantage. But if a parent is having a bad character, for example, that is for a disease, so the offspring will get that disease. No new feature in offspring to adapt to any change in environmental condition. For example, change came in environmental condition, and that change is very harsh. It is bad for the plant. So if the plant is growing through asexual reproduction, so no variation is coming in their offspring. So maybe that offspring may not adapt to the new changing environmental condition, right? Now, undesirable character are passed on to the offspring. As I discussed, if the parents having bad character, that is undesirable character, that can transfer to their offspring. Right? All right, now we have sexual reproduction, a type of reproduction in which the genetic material from two different cells combine, producing an offspring. Means two haploid cells come together and they form new offspring. The fusion of the two haploid cell, one egg and one sperm. I will take the example here of human. So the fusion of male and female gametes, that is called fertilization, and that will form zygote. Zygote is diploid cell that form is a result of fusion of two haploid cells, one from male and another from female, right? That zygote will develop into new individual by the process of mitosis. Now you can see here this example, like male body cell, right? It's now in male testes. Specialized cells are there. That cell and that cell meiosis will take place, and that 46 chromosome containing cell will convert into 23 chromosome containing cell. So that cell is what? Sperm. Same it will happen in female ovary, in which specialized cell that having 46 number of chromosome that will convert into 23 number of chromosome by the process of meiosis. These both will the sperm and ova, these both will fuse with each other, and they will form what 23 chromosome containing sperm, and this it contain 23 number of chromosome, both will fuse and they will form 46 chromosome containing cell called zygote. And then this zygote will start mitotic division. Like then all the cell, when it start mitotic division, so all the cell will have 46 means identical cell will start formation. Okay, and that this it will develop into embryo. Is it all right? Now advantage of sexual reproduction. We discussed about asexual reproduction. Now advantage of sexual reproduction: diverse offspring, genetic variation among offspring. In sexual reproduction, half of DNA come from mom and half of DNA come from dad. So it means two different DNA is coming together. So there is more chances of genetic variation. Due to this genetic variation, individual within population having a slight differences from their parents, right? That may having difference, like there may be different, slight difference from their parent. So if maybe parent having no resistance to a disease, but if new offspring form and that variation come, so maybe that new offspring having resistance to a specific disease. It means the variation can be good for the plant or for the new offspring that form. It may be good for that. Trait can develop to resist harsh environment. Because of this variation, new character can develop that may show resistance to new harsh environment, and that allow that changes or that new character that develop in the offspring that may allow that organism to survive in that harsh environment. Now, disadvantage of sexual reproduction is time and energy. Organisms have to grow and develop until they are old enough to produce six. It needs time. Organism need to reach to maturity. Then it will start to develop six, right? And we will take example of human. It reached to maturity puberty. So then they would start sexual. So it's time consuming. And search and find a mate. Organism have to search for the mate from another partner. Searching can expose individual to predator. We can take example here for animals. This searching can expose individual to predators, disease, or harsh environmental condition. Fertilization cannot take place during pregnancy, which can last even as long as 2 years for some mammal. So then that a mammal should wait for 2 years or more than that. Because of pregnancy, another fertilization will not take place. So it means it is time consuming and it's need more energy and sexual reproduction, right? To doing all these searching, find predator and all these. So it's time consuming and it's need energy. Is it clear to all? All right. Now, advantage of sexual reproduction, variation in offspring, and that variation may be good. Because of that variation, the offspring may adapt to the new environment, while the parents may having not that quality. New variety created, maybe because of this variation, new variety, new offspring will form, and that offspring may having resistance to disease. Disadvantage is two parents involved. Two parents need, means another partner should be there, and growth is slow as compared to asexual reproduction in plants. Okay, now in plants, if that happens, so it will develop into seed and fruit. So it will take time, and then that seed, when get favorable condition, it will convert into another. It will develop into another plant. So it take time and plant. Sexual reproduction and flowering plants. Now, our topic is flowering plants reproduce sexually by producing flowers. First, we will study about the structure of a flower. This part of flower is female part, female reproductive part of flower, right? This one, female reproductive part of flower. Okay, so this female reproductive part of flower is called carpel. Called what? Carpel. Now, carpel consists of three basic parts. The first one is stigma, style, and ovary, right? You can see here stigma. This part is called what? Stigma. The second part is called style. All right, and this part is called ovary, right? And ovary, inside that region is called what? Ovule. This region is called ovule, and this ovule, egg cell will form, right? So once again, listen: stigma, style, ovary, and ovary, ovule, where egg cell will form. Now, another part we have this one, this part. This is called, you can see it here, it is just like this. This is male reproductive part. So this consists of two parts, up and down. So you can see here, this part is, you can see this male part, anther and filament. So this first part is called anther and this is called filament. So both are collectively called what? Stamen. So it means male reproductive part of flower is called stamen. Anther, right? And this one is stamen. Both will form what? Anther and filament. Anther and filament will form stamen. That will form what? Stamen. All right. Now, This part is called petal. Remember, and carpal ova excel will develop, while and stamen pollen grain will develop, especially in this anther region of stamen. Pollen grain will develop. That is male reproductive part. Now this leaf, this colorful leaves of flower is called petal that attract insect for pollination. This is called nectar. It is a special gland that produces sugary substance to attract the insect for pollination. Okay. This is called sepal. Okay, I will discuss now about the sepal. And this is flower stalk, and this is called receptacles. Receptacle contain all this structure like sepal, petal, stem, and carpel are attached to receptacle. Okay. Now let's take a close look at different parts of the flower in detail. First, stigma is the sticky to keep hold of pollen grain. I told you already, pollen grain will develop an anther and that will come toward this stigma. It is sticky to hold the pollen grain. Okay. The style support the stigma and connect to ovary. Style is actually a structure that support the stigma, and when pollen grain fall and adhere, so the nuclei of that pollen grain will reach through the style to the ovule, right? Now the ovary is where the ovule or egg cells are produced. Usually ovule is the region, and that region egg cells are produced. Okay. Petal attract insect. It is colorful part of flower that attract insect for pollination. We will discuss it here. Pollination is actually the transfer of pollen grain from male part of flower to female part of flower, from anther to stigma of flower. Okay. The anther is the part that make pollen grain, right? The filament hold of the anther. What's the function of filament? It hold of the anther. It support the anther. The sepal leaves protect the flower before it open. When flower is in bud condition, so this small green leaf, it protect that whole flower structure when it is in bud condition. Okay. Now you can see it here. This is now, these are sepal. So these two flowers are in bud condition. So make up the outermost ring called calyx. Several sepal come together. They form what? Calyx of flower, and this protect the inner part of flower when it is in bud. Now come to our petal. Color part of flower is called petal. Make up the second ring of flower. So you know, one petal, two, three, like all this petal are collectively called what? Corolla. And this corolla actually attract the insects because of the color. May be brightly colored to attract insects. Nectaries may be present at the base to produce nectar. Nectar is actually sugary substance, so it is present at the base, which will attract insect for pollination. May have insect guides to lead insect toward nectaries. You can see it here. These are insect guides, right? So you know, these are insect guides, so that guide the insect to reach to the nectaries, and when it reach to nectaries, so that help in transfer of pollen grain from male anther to, from male part of the flower, that's called anther, to stigma. Is it clear? Now, stamen. Male reproductive part, anther and filament form stamen. I told you already. First is filament. Okay. Filament support anther. So filament plus anther. Okay. Filament plus anther, they will form what? Stigma. And you know, anther consists of two or more pollen sac. These are pollen sac. And this pollen sac and this structure, what will develop? Pollen grain will develop. Right? So once again, let me tell you, filament plus anther. So anther contains sac-like structure. You can see it here in this picture. So this sac-like structure contains what? Pollen grain. Yes. When anther ripen, you know that well, pollen sac split open to release pollen grain, which contain male gametes. Come to our carpel. Female reproductive part, the center of a flower. Female reproductive part consists of stigma that receive pollen grain. Let's see here. Style carries stigma. Style actually carries stigma means it gives support to the stigma, right? And remember, through this style, the pollen tube also travel toward the ovule, and through pollen tube, the male nuclei of pollen grain is transferring or traveling to the ovule, because inside the ovule there is ova. Okay, ovary with ovule inside. Carpel ovule are protected by integument, which is a small hole. We can see it here in this picture. First of all, stigma, style, and ovary, right? So this form carpel, and this is the region. This inner region is called ovule, and this ovule is protected by this layer. This is called integument, and here is a hole. You can see it here. This hole is called micropyle. This hole is called what? Micropyle. Through this micropyle, you know, like for example, pollen grain came here, right? For example, pollen grain is here, that reach here. So pollen grain will develop what? A structure, like such a structure called what? Pollen tube. So through that pollen tube, the male haploid nuclei is entering to this ovule. In this ovule, this ova is there. So that haploid nuclei plus this ova both will fuse here in the ovule, right? And this pollen tube enter to it to this ovule through a micropyle, through this small hole. Okay. Ovule contain female gametes. Each ovule is attached to ovary wall by stalk. Right? Each ovule is attached to ovary wall by a special stalk. You can see here. This is ovary wall. Right? Okay, so you just review a function of parts of flower. So petal, sepal, petiole, nectary, petiole. Okay, this is stalk support the flower to make it easy seen by insects. So you know the stalk that is attached to the flower is called what? Petiole, and able to withstand